If you're looking for an interesting team to follow in 2025, look no further than UCLA. The Bruins didn't do anything to warrant national attention in 2024. They actually struggled quite a bit. Year one under Deshaun Foster, first year in the Big Ten, the Bruins went just 5-7. They started the year off 1-5 before rallying a little bit at the end, going 4-2 down the stretch, just missing out on the postseason. But the reason they're getting so much attention now, the reason that they might be kind of fun to watch this year, is because of the addition of Nico Iamaleava, the transfer quarterback from Tennessee. Will he pan out in LA, or will it be a massive bust? That's what we're here to talk about today. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad that you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below, including our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to our expert picks, home to our weekly newsletters, tons of exclusive content over there to help you get through this offseason. And again, every day gets us one step closer to the start of the regular season with content, analysis, predictions, stuff that you are not going to want to miss all year long. So go check it out. Become a member of our GE Nation. We would love to have you. So yes, we know this is old news. Obviously, Nico Iamaleava and the whole Tennessee thing happened a little over a month ago. Transferred to UCLA about a month ago. But we wanted to talk about it now because we're kind of doing like a almost minor team preview for UCLA before we get to their full prediction once prediction season starts here in just a few weeks. But Nico Iamaleava, is he going to pan out? I'm going to go and tell you right now, I don't think he is. This is an interesting pick by UCLA. And I think it was a good move by a lot of teams across the country to avoid this quarterback, a guy who helped lead Tennessee to the college football playoff last year, but after that was demanding that Tennessee pay him about $4 million. So keep in mind, right as the spring portal window was about to close, he wanted $4 million, and Tennessee said, no, you're not worth that. You're not worth $4 million. You're just not that good. We're already paying you like a little over $2 million. We're not going to almost double that for you for mediocre play. So he said, fine, I'm leaving. I think Nico Iamaleava kind of thought someone was going to snatch him up and pay him $4, $5, $6 million, and no one did. So now he went from getting a little over $2 million to less than $1 million at UCLA. I believe he's only going to be making, especially after taxes and stuff, about $900,000. You know, beggars can't be choosers, man. You know, you take what you get, don't throw a fit. I think a lot of us would be thrilled with $2 million to be playing a game. Nico Iamaleava, maybe not so much. Now he's at UCLA, a team that has a lot of questions and really wasn't all that great last year. So you look at this guy. He's a drama-filled quarterback. He's a mediocre quarterback, a guy who only threw for over 200 yards last year in just 5 games. Tennessee played in 13 games. Only 5 of them did he throw for over 200 yards. Only 1 of them did he throw for over 300 yards. And I believe that was a season opener against like Chattanooga. In the playoff game, the college football playoff game, Tennessee traveled to Ohio State, who ultimately won the national championship. This $4 million quarterback went 14 for 31 for 104 yards. That's it. That's it. That is not elite quarterback play. Say what you want. Oh, it was cold. Oh, it was on the road. Oh, they won the match. Who cares? If you're believing you're that worth that much, you kind of have to show up a little bit more in the biggest game of the year. He didn't do that. So UCLA got this highly touted, originally recruit, a guy who still has talent, just not as great a talent, got him at a discount to come in here, give him some stable quarterback play, something they really didn't have much of in 2024, hoping that he can propel them to a bowl game. UCLA is not a playoff contender. They are not a Big Ten title contender, but they're hoping to take a bit of a step forward in year 2 under Deshaun Foster, get them to the postseason, lay a solid foundation, and continue to build from there. But outside of Nico Iamaleava, who's going to have all eyes on him, not just from UCLA fans, but from the nation after that whole debacle that happened in Knoxville, they've got to find some help for him because UCLA didn't have a running game in 2024. The Bruins were ranked 132nd in the nation when it came to their rushing offense. They rushed for over 100 yards in just 3 games, and they only rushed for 4 touchdowns all year long. Non-existent. It was non-existent. The offense as a whole was almost non-existent. And they've got talent. Javion Thomas, Jalen Berger, he transfers in from Wisconsin. They've got some talent that can come in here and help out. The offensive line looks fairly solid. As a whole, with a competent quarterback, not great, but a competent, experienced quarterback, better running backs, better offensive line, a handful of receivers that could play a big role here. UCLA should take a pretty big step forward offensively. The defense lost a handful, especially in the front 7. I'm really interested to see how they replace that this year, but the secondary looks really, really good. Add some key transfers in the secondary where I think UCLA could be dangerous there. This defense was a bright spot in those final 6 games of the year. They only allowed 21 points or less in 5 of their final 7 games. They clearly started to hit their stride, clearly started to play a lot better towards the end of the year, and they're hoping they can carry the momentum over into 2025. Briefly looking at the schedule, the Bruins have the work cut out for them. Life in the Big Ten, as we know, going to be very, very tough. They open the year against Utah at the Rose Bowl. Old Pac-12 members now. Utah is a member of the Big 12, UCLA, member of the Big 10. So no longer a conference game, but an interesting game between the Bruins and the Utes. And then they go on the road at UNLV. There is a very good chance UCLA could start 0-2. That's a very realistic possibility. So if you're UCLA, you're looking at those 2 games and you say you've got to split them. 2-0 would be phenomenal. But if you're not going to do that, you've got to find a way to beat one of Utah and UNLV. Got to find a way. Both very tough games. UNLV under a new coach in Dan Mullen, but a lot of talent coming back, especially the transfer portal. Utah, great coach in Kyle Whittingham. Add Devin Dampier from New Mexico, a dangerous dual threat quarterback who could give the Utes consistent quarterback play after up and down the last few years with Cam Rising, not because of his poor play, but because of his injuries. Outside of that, in Big Ten Conference play, they have to play Penn State, they have to play Indiana, and they have to play Ohio State. Penn State and Ohio State are almost surefire losses. UCLA kind of held their own against the Nittany Lions last year, probably won't this year. The Nittany Lions are the real deal. Ohio State, the reigning national champions, going to be loaded again. And Indiana last year came into the Rose Bowl, annihilated the Bruins. UCLA now has to go on the road for it. And while the Hoosiers may not repeat as a playoff team, they do return a lot of talent and once again add tons from the transfer portal. That is what Curt Cignetti is known for. Outside of that, they do play Nebraska and they do play Washington, 2 teams that a lot of people, including myself to an extent, are high on this year, thinking some big things could come out of Nebraska and could come out of Washington. So a very, very, very tough conference slate for the Bruins. 2 very difficult non-conference games for the Bruins. And the bottom line for UCLA this year is just hope you can get to 6-6. Hope Nico Iamaleava can come in here, do just good enough to get you to 6-6. That would be a successful year. 7 wins is probably the ceiling for the Bruins this year. Anything more than that would be a shock. Anything less than 6 wins wouldn't be that big of a shock. Another 5-7 season wouldn't be that big a shock. And with how difficult the schedule is, 4-8 might not even be that big a shock. And it would be considering the hype surrounding UCLA, considering the expectations set before them because of the guys that are now coming into the portal. But the schedule is brutal. They've got a mediocre quarterback, but better than they had last year. They just need a hope for a postseason berth. That would be a great step forward in year 2 under Sean Foster. We mentioned that. Laying a foundation, building for the future. That's the goal in year 2. It absolutely can be done. The million-dollar question is, will it be done? So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. We'll have our official UCLA prediction coming your way here in just a few weeks, so do not miss out on that. All the more reason to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, to check out everything down in the description below, including our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to our expert picks, home to our weekly newsletters, home to tons of exclusive content to help you get through the rest of this offseason, but content you're going to want once the regular season starts as well. So go check it out. The link for it down in the description below. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.